Hello there. The last time you saw this, we went over the contents of my bass box. And now what I want to do is go over the contents of my ultralight panfish setup. I have found recently that as much as I loved bass fishing back when I was young, now that I'm older, the panfish with ultralight rod and ultralight reel and light line, like 4 pound, 6 pound test, is something that's just fantastic. It's kind of a different pace or whatnot, but I'm finding that I really enjoy fishing for them, and they put up a really good fight if you use the right gear, and just a good old time. And you can go out almost anywhere you can think of and find them. Unlike, bass fishing, a lot of times go to a pond, you don't have any clue whether there's any bass in it or not, but you might find crappie, you might find perch, you might find all kinds of panfish there. And you might go to some ponds and not find anything. It might be deader than a doornail. But just fantastic stuff. And so I want to look at my panfish setup. All right, now what this is, you see a lot of tackle boxes that come like this now, with a bag just like this, pretty much. Except a lot of times they'll fold out and they'll have dividers in it like that. This is basically an Ozark Trail, some kind of outdoor sporting type bag from Ozark Trail. And what I did was I went out and bought 3600 size plastic containers, divider containers, you know what I'm talking about, and put them in here just like if you were to buy it as a tackle box. But I had the bag. I couldn't see buying a whole tackle box when I spent 10 or 12 bucks all in all in what I have in here, and it will do the job. But this box has a little net compartment here. I can put smaller stuff in if I want to, but access to the top is from something like that. And I have panfish baits. This box will hold, or this bag rather, will hold 4 of these boxes. I have 2 in here that have things in them, and 1 ready to go to expand this, and I will get another that goes with it. Also, in the front, there's a large compartment, and then another one of the small compartments there. And this has got things like the small sinker weights and carrot, I forget what these are called. But swivels. You can tell those are old. And some smaller snelled hooks, stuff like that, if I wanted to do live bait. And so I keep them up front here so that they're accessible. And the first box that I want to talk about is the plastics and the inline spinner base. Well, no, not inline spinner base. The plastics and the beetle spin type stuff. And what I found, all of these little swimtail grub is what I would call them. I have them in chartreuse and purple and sort of a burnt yellow, I guess you might call that, and then a brighter yellow, and a sort of a a semi-translucent white, and then a more solid bright white, and sort of a cross between like a hot pink and a red. So what, hot red? I don't know. And black, and these are old plastics that I have here that I just showed you. They've been in this box for 20-something years. And then I have, of course, a couple of the little beetle spin left. And then I bought these recently to give them a try on this smaller gear for panfish, that kind of thing. I think these are really cool. Using my little divider, and then kind of a peppered white color of the smaller baits. And then of course I have the little spinners. This one's got one that I was fishing recently, but I've got a couple in the shiny copper, and then a lot more of them in the silver. And I have, I think, a 1/8 ounce jig heads, and 1/16 ounce jig heads. And most of the time when I fish the little grubs and stuff, I fish them like a beetle spin on these spinners. But you can also run those jig heads and run these just on the jig head. Don't put any weight on them, because obviously the jig head has a weight to it, and fish them like that, and they catch really well too. So that's kind of like one of these two. This and the inline spinners are probably my main panfish baits. You don't need a whole lot. What I will most likely do is get the smaller size of those little swimtail grubs, and some of the other smaller, like I showed you, these smaller baits and things of that nature, and 32nd ounce jig heads, stuff like that, to fish panfish with. And then what I did, I have the inline spinners in several different colors, white and black, and kind of a fire tiger, fire tail, fire something, and a couple of different green, and a red. Those are like gold pan fishing in my opinion. And then I have the smaller little baby frog. And another little small frog. And then I have, this is the fluger. That's an old bait. That's loose. I'll have to glue that. I'm glad I did this, because now I know. But stuff like crawfish, smaller lures that I know will catch, they would catch smallmouth bass or even largemouth bass, but they'll catch some of the smaller fish and things like crappie. There's a small popper. This is for going after smaller fish with smaller line. Like I said, some of this borders on bass gear. If I can get that puppy out of there, I'll show it to you. But kind of size down. Just smaller little lures. So, I mean, that's my panfish box at the moment. Like I said, I'll be getting another one of these, and I'll be filling it with mostly plastics and things of that kind, in different colors and orientations. But I may do like one of these in the plastics and one of these in other small uh, miniature baits, like the little frogs that I showed you, little miniature crankbaits and stuff like that. That I may do one in that and one in the plastics. I don't know yet, but that's room for expansion. And I also have these two side pockets that are empty that would carry my phone and the mount for my tripod and sandwiches and stuff like that. Sandwiches and snacks and things like that, because I need to keep my sugar up and all that jazz. So I mean, this is ideal for that kind of fishing, and it's lightweight. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's got a strap on it. I could strap it on my shoulder if I get tired of lugging it around by the handle. Just yeah, I think that's going to work really well for probably the majority of my fishing from now on. Will probably be panfish. So that's my panfish setup. I thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later.